Good morning, good morning. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. First, I want to thank God for being alive another day. A lot of people didn't make it, once again. I want to give my condolences to Scottie Pippen. He lost his son from asthma, and this is the season that people with allergies and asthma, bronchitis, we have a hard way to go, breathing. The pollen getting into in our lungs and bacteria sitting in. And if we're not treating it properly, it can cause death, So for those that have asthma, bronchitis, any type of breathing problems, we just lost Black Rob. My condolences go out to him and his family as well. However, people need to take this breathing thing very serious. God just showed us how serious it can really be through the COVID. And y'all need to pay attention to that. So those that do have respiratory issues, like myself, make sure you got your medicine on deck. Make sure you have what you need. We know sometimes we can't afford to go to the doctors, or we may not want to, if we can't afford, we don't want to ask somebody else for the money, because you try to live your own life and do things on your own way. But there's certain things that you just cannot live without. During this time of the year, especially if you have allergy and respiratory issues. So make sure you get your medications. It's like myself, I woke up one day, I couldn't breathe. I went to go get my asthma pump. I don't call it asthma pump because I don't have asthma, I have bronchitis, which is worse than asthma. And I went and to get it, and it was expired. So, next thing I went to see if I can get on my nebulizer, and my medicine was expired. So it was time for me to go to the doctor and try to get some more medication. I had to set an appointment for that, which is tomorrow. So I'll have these things on deck just in case, and my heart goes out to Scottie Pippen on this note because, all the things going on in the world, you don't expect to lose your family member over a breathing issue, you know what I mean? And I've had a friend, a longtime friend, I haven't seen her in a long time, but her mom passed away from asthma as well, and she was young living without a mom, At least I got to see my mom, when I was grown, some people lose their parents young, and she was very young, so she had to grow and be without a mother, and that was like very devastating for her and devastating for me too, because I couldn't imagine it, being without a mom because of a breathing issue that she couldn't get to the hospital. She didn't have the medications that was working for her properly, and she lost her life behind it. So these are things that we have to stay up on, people, However, let's check the weather today and see what's going on here in Charlotte. Alexa, what's the weather in Charlotte?
In Charlotte, it's 54 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can look for cloudy skies with a high of 76 degrees and a low of 54 degrees.
Okay, see, that's the problem. It's going to be 76 today. 76 is beautiful, okay? But if the pollen is high and it's 76, 80, 85, around in there, it's very, very hard for some of us to breathe. Like right now, I'm having trouble breathing right now. I already took my meds. It takes time to work, of course. But this is what we go through on a daily basis, and it's sad that we go through this. However, we don't want to have these issues. We don't want to have it, but it's just something that we have contracted either when we was born or throughout the years, and I've had these issues since I was 14. So I've been fighting this battle for a very, very long time. However, it's been a hard battle, these allergies and the pollen and, just everything. I didn't get diagnosed until I was 14, actually, with allergies. That's when I was in 151 in New York and in the Bronx. And we had went on our trip. They do a trip at the end of the year every year. And they took us to Great Adventures. And, Great Adventures have a lot of trees. It's in Jersey and has a lot of trees. And it was the worst thing, And I had two issues going on because I was living with dogs and I had to deal with the trees. So I couldn't breathe. My head was pounding. It was the worst I've ever felt in my life, And I was a child, so I couldn't understand it. And I was like, oh, my God, what's wrong with me? Am I dying? I couldn't understand it. But finally, we found out that I had allergies, and that was my issue, And, of course, I went to Great Adventures. It was in June. And that's when the pollen was high in New York City, So I was, not New York City, in Jersey. So I was like really, really messed up. So yeah, y'all pay attention to that. Those that have allergies, and the thing about it too, I want to bring this to your attention. You can have allergies, okay, get through them, okay? But then there could be a day that you wake up and it shuts down your respiratory system. Okay, you be like, oh, it's just my allergies. I feel okay. But if you don't pay attention to it and don't treat it, it could affect your respiratory. Okay, so please treat your allergies. That's one of the reasons why I created the Diamond Way, so we have a way to keep our lungs open, because that is a very, very big issue, especially during seasonal allergies. We have to keep our lungs open. We're going to still go through the allergy process, but once our lungs shut down, that's when we die, or have a hard time breathing. So that's why the Diamond Way bath salt was created for people with allergies, so those lungs will stay open. The eucalyptus and the peppermint has a way of keeping the lungs open, and you can actually feel it, when you run the water over it and you take a deep breath, you can actually feel it open up your lungs, okay? So this is the purpose of me creating this thing, to give to the people, because I've seen a lot of people like me suffer, Now today, I want to talk about what the title of this podcast is. I got to work with people. Am I right for the job? I'm going to tell y'all why in a minute I chose this title. And I'm going to tell y'all why I'm speaking about this. In this world today, people don't have customer service skills. Okay. So I know that the colleges are no longer teaching it. Okay. I don't know if that was a class that, they felt like was no longer needed, but it's not true, colleges. Y'all need to get it together. The second thing is these children that's coming out of college are not taking psychology classes. When I was coming up, okay, it was a must that I had Psychology 1 and Psychology 2, and I have customer service class, okay? Reason being is because the field that I was going into, which was nursing, I had to deal with people. I have to deal with people's families. They will become irate. They will become... they can go through any channels of emotions, okay? Even when you become a CNA, okay, they take you through the channels of the emotions of an ill person, or what a person could be going through, whether they have family issues, whether they're, just going through something, period. People wake up on a bad day sometime, and it's just what it is. Okay, we're human beings, not robots. And I'm going to get to the keys of what is needed to do to deal with an irate customer, okay? And the reason being is because, and I first want to tell y'all why I'm going to go through this process. Okay, my daughter goes to a school called North Carolina Virtual Academy. This school is owned by a black man. Okay, now I'm not doing this to slander him. I wanted him to make it, and that's why I supported him 100%. However, when you hire people that's not going to protect your name, you got to get rid of them. It may hurt. I don't know if it's your family members, if it's your wife, whoever it is. It's going to destroy your company, okay? And, I hope you listen to this podcast, because business is business, okay? Personal is personal. You can't mix the two. I'm going to tell y'all what happened yesterday. Okay? Now, y'all know my daughter was kicked out of school without my knowledge. Okay? I didn't get an email nor a call. Not even a certified letter. Okay? Now, the way it works in the United States is every child, whether a child is even suspended out of a school, must have another school to go to. Now, even in regular school, when a child is suspended for 5 days, okay, most of the time, the superintendents started getting angry in some states because these kids are missing 5 days worth of school, okay? So they started doing in-school suspension, where the children, if it's over 5 days, they give them 2, 3 at home, and if it's got to go to 5 days, they have to do in-school suspensions. Reason being, because now they're missing a whole week worth of knowledge, okay? Now, when children are sick, they're given work to do at the hospital, at home, whatever the case may be, okay? If a child is just too much to deal with and they say, okay, we can't have this child in school because he is disrupting the school. When they discharge that child, they give you another school to take your child to, which is called an alternative school. Every state has one, okay? I've lived in 4 different states. I didn't experience the school thing in Jacksonville, but in New York, Buffalo, that's one state, Maryland, and North Carolina. They all have alternative schools that they send your children to. Yeah, I had a bad one, where he was always getting in trouble and getting kicked out of school. Okay. Now, this is the law. Up until they're 16 years old. By the time they're 16, they can make the choice on their own whether or not they want to go to school or complete school. And in this day of time, we want our kids to get education, so we still find an alternative for them. Okay? Shout out to Charlotte. I don't know about no place else in North Carolina, but shout out to Charlotte. The first thing they would do when a child says, look, I'm 16, I ain't got to go through this, I don't want to go to school no more. They still try to give them alternatives. Like we have a school called Commonwealth, okay, where they just go there, sit on the computer, do the work, check in with their teachers. There's no teacher standing in front of them. It's an alternative school. When you have a school that's not worried about the well-being of the child's education, it does not look good, okay? And this is why I'm doing this podcast today, because this school is looking worse every day. Every single day that I deal with these people, they are getting worse and worse and worse. And like I said, I love the fact that the school had religion in it. This is one of the reasons why I kept my daughter in, and I was trying to do everything possible to try to keep her in, even though I had made the decision to take her out, okay? But they have made my final decision of removing her next year. Now, they still haven't found a school for this child, okay? They got to find an alternative school. At this time, most schools are not taking other kids because it's COVID time. So they have to take her back, whether they like it or not, okay? Now, this is the thing. I've been trying to contact this particular person that called me yesterday for months, okay? She's never returned my call, okay? So I sent out emails to all of the administrators of the school, okay? Finally, I get a call 3 p.m. yesterday. So now I'm telling her, you just can't kick out a child. You have to put her back in school. Whatever the issue is, we can deal with that. But the main purpose of this call today is to get her back in school, and we can deal with everything else later. Okay? Now, she proceeded to go on with, she wanted to tell me about Egypt and her truancy. However, how do you have truancy in a virtual school? I'm going to tell you. When a child doesn't log in, okay? Now, my daughter has a couple of classes where If she goes to these classes and she's late, they will put her in a room, okay? And then the room will kick her out after a certain amount of time, okay? Now, we've been dealing with this issue for the last 6 months. I've told her advisor. We had a truancy prevention class. I told them in there. I've called this woman on it months ago. Nobody seems to understand where I'm coming from, okay? Because they're not fit to be in the job that they're in. And I'm going to tell you why. If you know anything about children, okay, now y'all know I have a lot of experience with raising children. I've raised not only my own, but other people's, and I'm still guiding children as of today. My oldest is 34, my youngest is 11. You can't tell me things have changed because I just got rid of an 18-year-old, okay? So things ain't changed from 18, okay, to now, because he just turned 18. He's about to be 19, okay? So you can't tell me, oh, well, things have changed from back in the day. No, because I was just in the schools a couple of years ago. Don't tell me things changed. Okay, so, you laugh at these people when they're talking to you because they talk to you like you don't know what you're talking about, okay? So now, let me tell y'all what she did. She proceeded to tell me what I've done, okay? And I'm listening to her now. She's like, well, didn't you go to you was in the truancy meeting, wasn't you? No, I didn't know nothing about a truancy meeting. So if I wasn't in a truancy meeting, that's when someone was supposed to call me and say, oh, Miss Richardson, why wasn't you in the truancy meeting? We had set a truancy meeting. Did you get the email? No, I didn't get the email. That's when they would have known that I didn't get the email. But nobody proceeded to pick up the phone to have the courtesy to say, I don't know if Miss Richardson knew about this. Because anytime they ask me to go into a class or have a meeting, I try my best to do it. Even if I'm in my car and I have to park my car and talk to them, I do what I got to do. Okay? So now she's proceeding to tell me what I've done. Okay? That's a definite no-no, okay? When you're dealing with a person, you're not going to tell them, especially in customer service, what they've done wrong, okay? Regardless if you think they've done something wrong, that's not the issue today. You deal with that issue later, okay? That's the way it works. Now, the school has already done wrong by putting her out of school without referring her to another school, okay? It's against the law. Okay, so with that being said, y'all know y'all at fault. Don't try to manipulate the situation like a child would do and push it off on someone else. Number one key to failure, pointing a finger. You don't do that in customer service, okay? When you're dealing with people, it will make people angry. Especially if they know they knew nothing about anything and you didn't take the proper procedures to make sure that they knew. Okay? Now, they have 3 faults. Okay? This is the school's 3 faults. The 3 faults is I've been trying to contact y'all about this issue of my daughter going into this particular class and the teacher's kicking her out. Okay, now the teacher's kicking her out every time she's late. So my daughter feels, she's a child. So, children always want to manipulate situations, just like the person that I spoke to on the phone. So her theory is, okay, well, I'm going to manipulate this situation and I'm just not going to go to class. That's when it becomes truancy. Okay? We get it. But we have to figure out a better way. First of all, a teacher shouldn't be kicking a child out of a class. If you come into the class late, now you got to go through my session and now you still got to watch the recording. Okay, you make it harder for them, not easier. Okay, that's what I was trying to talk to them about, but they would never call me back on it because they want to do things their way. However, if you don't understand how a child thinks and how children manipulate situations because of the things that y'all implement, and y'all don't want to get what we call it. You know how you go to some jobs and they have a suggestion box. And they said, well, if you have a suggestion, put it in this box. I can't put it in a suggestion box. So I have to be able to physically speak to someone and say, hey, I don't think that that's the right way to do things because my daughter's manipulating your situation. So what I think y'all need to do is make it harder for her so that way she'll make sure that she's on that class every day on time. Now, we have certain circumstances where she may try to get on class, and I've sat there and I've watched. She'll try 15 minutes before. Now, you can't get into the class until 10 minutes before. So she'll pull up everything, right? Now she has to go into the blackboard. Okay? It'll load, and she's be sitting there. Okay? And then she's like, okay, mommy, I'm going to be late now, and they're going to kick me out the class because of the internet. Now, we can't control the internet. There's nothing that we can do about that. Okay? Now, I have the top of the line internet. I got Spectrum. Okay? So, what Spectrum do, I can't control. So now, if this thing is constantly loading, but she unlogged in at the time that she was supposed to log in, and now it's 5 or 10 minutes after the class, she's getting kicked out of class because of Spectrum. So what do? We call up Spectrum and go off on them? We can't. This is what internet does. Okay? It's the process. Some days you have good days, some days you have bad days with the internet. That's just what it is, because a lot of people are online. This is the way it works. A lot of people are on the satellites. Okay? I gotta woosah sometime, y'all. When you trying to make something better and you're trying to work with a particular company because you like what they're trying to do, but they're actually making life worse, not only for them, for you and your child. Okay? Now, I've always been a hard parent, my son can tell you, I didn't pull no punches. My daughter can tell you. All my kids can tell you. I don't play with them. Okay? Everything you do is going to affect you. And I'm going to find a way around it where you're not going to manipulate no situation when it comes to a school or me. Okay? But kids, they try to find a way. They're going to always try to find something, some type of way to do things to make it fit them. Okay? Well, this is the same thing that this particular person that called me back was doing. Now you sound like my 11-year-old. Okay? I was like appalled, y'all. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So she's constantly telling me, well, you was in the class. No, sweetie. I was not in the class. I don't know what you're talking about. In class I was in, there's a lot of people in this particular class, and they didn't say anything about a certain time frame or anything, and still no one has gotten back to me about the situation with this particular teacher. This is all over one teacher and what she has implemented. Okay? Now, my whole life is disrupted because of this one teacher and things that she has implemented to get my child kicked out of school, which is illegal. Okay? I don't get it. So now, like I said, when she called me back, her main focus should have been getting Egypt back in school because they are breaking the law. But she wanted to proceed to tell me where I was doing wrong. That's not the way it works. You fix the situation. Okay? Then you proceed. That's key two. You proceed to tell the customer what they need to do to keep it right. That's the way it works. Okay? Now, this is not something that I'm making up. This is not the Diamond way. This is the way it's been taught for 30, 40, 50 years. But evidently, they're not teaching these people today that they're hiring how to deal with people. So she doesn't know this. Okay? So now I'm becoming irate. I'm frustrated. I'm going off like, you're not going to tell me that you're not going to put this child back in school because it's illegal. By law, you have to have another school for my child to go to when you put my child out of school. What part of this you don't understand? What other issues that you got going on with me, we'll deal with that afterwards. However, you need to put this child back in school. That's the number one key of this call. She wanted to go on and on. What this she had the nerve to say, I don't like your tone. I had to laugh. So what tone do you expect me to have after I've been trying to resolve this issue with your school for the last 6 months, and it took for me to email 5 different administrators to get you to call me. What type of attitude you expect me to have? Oh, don't think it's going to be a pretty one. Okay, so now, and then, wait a minute. Not only is the fact that you haven't contacted me in over 6 months after I called you on this issue twice, you're trying to point the finger at me and make me the problem when I tried to address it. Okay? I just spoke to her advisor 2 weeks ago. Her advisor not only spoke to myself, but spoke to Egypt directly. And you still trying to point the finger at me. Okay? And I'm not supposed to get angry? What world are you in? So that tells me right there, you're a manipulator as well. You're not here to resolve the care of the education of my child. All you care about is if you get the upper hand. And when you saw you couldn't get the upper hand, you ran. You hung up the phone. Okay? Never are you to hang up a phone on anyone. Now, I don't know what y'all do in your personal lives, but in business, you cannot hang up the phone on a customer. You just can't. Okay? Now, what you can tell them is, ma'am, sir, I will give you a call back tomorrow when you calm down so we can resolve this issue. Have a good day. You do not hang up the phone on a person in business. That's a no-no. Definite no-no. Okay? So now I was waiting for her call back. Okay? Maybe we got disconnected. You always look at the better side of things. Okay? You give people the benefit of the doubt. Okay? I thought maybe got disconnected. So I tried to call back. I waited a few minutes, no call back. So then I called her back. And I said, I can't remember everything I said, but I know I was more furious. Okay? So, and I'm saying to myself, like, this chick here, ooh-wee, sometimes you got to say a little prayer sometime before you say some things. So I'm praying a little bit in my head, and I'm saying to myself, this girl don't know what she's doing at all. You look real stupid. Okay? You don't deserve your job. Okay, at all. Because you're not fit for your job. Because you are a manipulator. You showed me to be a manipulator and a runner. That's what you showed me to be. So you're definitely not fit for a job in a school, because that's not the leadership that we want our children to know. Because we're trying to get our children away from being a manipulator, or liars, and runners. You have to face it. So anyway, I left the voicemail, and I told her, I proceeded to say, listen here, do you want me to take this to the news? Okay, and why are you running? Because you got to face me whether you like it or not. Whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next week, you still got to face me. Whether we stand in front of a judge, you got to face me. So why are you running? This is the job that you took. This is the job that you chose to deal with people. Even though you caused my attitude. I'm a human being. I don't have to respect you if you disrespected me. And you disrespected me twice when I called you 6 months ago on the matter, and you didn't return my call. Okay? Then you disrespected me again when I called recently, and you didn't return my call, and I had to have 5 administrators. I had to email 5 administrators in order for you to return my call. And then you're going to tell me you don't like my tone when you created it? Because you didn't want to do your job? Because you don't know how to deal with people? Now, the way this matter should have been taken care of, if she would have been calling me back we would have known about the situation, and Egypt would have never got cut out of school because we would have came together with all the teachers that Egypt is having issues with and spoke about this matter. Okay? But she didn't want to take that road. She wanted to hide because she don't want to do a job. She don't want to talk to the people. But this is the job that you signed up for. So if you are dealing with people, most jobs deal with people. Okay, but then you have those that just sit behind a computer and they don't have to deal with people. They just deal with, computer stuff. Or you got some people that have labor jobs where, all they got to deal with is just their boss, and they go out there and do the hard labor or whatever the case may be. But when you have a job where you have to deal with people every single day, sweetie, you have to put on a smile that you just have to carry. That's the way it works. Now, I've been in customer service for over 30 years, if not more. I have more experience in customer service than sales. Of course, in my profession in sales, you got to have great customer service in order to be successful. That's why I was successful. You make the customer happy. You make the customer feel like you care. The moment that you make the customer feel like you don't care and you're pointing a finger at them, they become frustrated and you lose. That's the bottom line. If you have no sympathy for the customer, you lose. So you see where she went wrong totally? Because she had no sympathy. All she wanted to talk about is why my child was truancy. But you're not talking about fixing the situation with getting her back in school because my daughter is not in school. Then we could have talked about the so-called truancy because I've been trying to get you on the phone for 6 months, and you would have realized that if you would have took care of the job that you were supposed to take care of first. Then you wanted to disconnect yourself from me after you unstarted a bunch of crap, because that's what you've done. What we call them. I don't want to say the word, but SHIT starters. And then they run after they have started something that they can't handle. Okay? That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works, people. If you want to live in happiness with your job, learn how to do your job. Then it won't become frustrating. You look at your job as how many people did I help today? Okay? How many people did I help and satisfy today? By my means. If you cannot do that in customer service, you're not fit for the job, so don't apply for it. No matter how many other skills you have, you can be the best secretary, you can put everything together, but if you got to talk to other people and you can't do those things, you're not fit for the job because it's the number one key. Without customer service, a company cannot run. Now, she didn't know who I was. Now, y'all all know. I'm Jacqueline Richardson to her. But in my entertainment world, I'm Miss JJ Diamond. And the things that I talk about goes on Google for life. Oh, but she didn't know that. This is why you got to always be on your A game. Because you never know who you're talking to. You never know who you're dealing with. Okay? Now, I'm the same person that's connected with how many music artists that could have been thinking about putting their children, these are major celebrities. Okay? 50 Cent is one. He has Siri. He might have been thinking about moving to North Carolina because he see how Egypt has progressed and that I'm able to deal with the school. I could put my son in that school. Nobody's saying you have to cater to people, but you need to show care because you never know who you're talking to. Do you know why most of the people with children move to California? Because the schools are good. They're all 10 rated. Because I was, I looked into it because I was thinking about moving to LA, but I changed my mind. It's a reason why I want my daughter in a 10 rated school. That's why I had to do my research. Because even if my child thinks she's going to manipulate me, I got the school to back me to get her right because they care. Okay? Now, if there's a school that doesn't have that caring attitude, what do we need to do? We got to get rid of them. Or should we give him another chance to get a whole new team that's going to make his name look good? You hate to destroy a black man. I do. I know it hurts me to my heart. Because I told y'all, I've been working up under black men for many, many years. Okay? And been proud to do it. Standing for the name that we all represented. And made sure I went out there and represented the name to the fullest. With the best customer service I can possibly give. Even if I knew the person was wrong. This is why they ask on some applications, are you a quick thinker? Customer service requires thinking. Okay? I had told, y'all know I went back into doing CNA work, home health work. And I had told my client, I said, this is good for me, kind of. I said, because I don't really have to think. Everything is labor, here. I'm cooking for her, helping her bathe, whatever the case may be. And she said, well, Jackie, you're supposed to think every day. And I'm like, she didn't understand what I'm saying because she wasn't a salesperson. But she was in real estate in the past, so it should have gathered in her brain, but she didn't get it. You get it. Sometimes you just don't want to think. But when you're at work, you have to do that. That's why they hired you, because they need you to think. Any problem that comes, you got to be able to resolve it. And if you can't resolve it, after you tried everything possible, then that's when you need to seek help. But she didn't even try. So you see her faults? So I had to let her know, you got to face me. You got to face me. Now, the other problem that we never do is drag an issue on day after day after day. Because all that's going to do is make the customer more irate. You try to get rid of... Now, people always say to me, like, okay, Jack, you got an issue. But why are you running around like you crazy? Blah, 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 blah. Because I'm trying to fix the issue as soon as possible. The reason being is because we don't want it to drag on. Okay? When something drags on, it gets worse by the day, by the hour, by the minutes. And then this is how the devil works. Let me tell you how the devil works. When he know that you keep dragging something on, then he gonna throw another issue at you. Bow. Now you got 2 issues to deal with. Now he gonna throw another issue at you. Bow. Now you got 3 issues to deal with. When you would have only had 1 at that time, got rid of it, then you would have been able to deal with the other one and got rid of that one, and then be able to deal with the other one and get rid of that one. But then now you got 3 that's piled up because you too afraid to deal with your issues. I live my life like that. This is why I stay happy. You wonder why? How she can do that? She don't drink. She don't get high. She don't do none of that. Because I deal with my issues as they come. Some can be resolved immediately. Some can't. Some I can control and some I can't. Those that I can't control, I pray on it. And those that I can control, I get to it ASAP. To get rid of it. You don't allow things to linger on in your life. because eventually it'll kill you. That's the way it works. Okay? So, the key to this right here, this podcast today, is to teach you. You do not apply for a job if you're not ready to deal with irate people, being disrespected, being overworked when you're dealing with people. You don't do it. You don't lie to get out of a situation, because that situation will arise again. And then what you're going to do about it? And see, this is the thing that I couldn't understand. You constantly telling me what I've done, okay? You're pointing the finger at me, telling me that I've received this and that and this, and I never received this stuff, okay? However, you never once thought about the process that you're putting yourself through when that judge is going to look at you, because he's going to ask you questions. Well, did y'all call on the phone? No. Okay. Did you email them? Well, people don't get emails all the time. Especially a person like myself. I get hundreds of emails every day. Okay? Then he's going to say, well, did you send a certified letter? And when you say no, you automatically lose. No attempt. Okay? No attempt to resolve a matter that would keep you out of trouble. And then you proceeded to try to start more drama. Instead of fixing it and then saying, Ms. Richardson, we got to talk about this truancy thing, because this is why they shut her out of school, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have to meet. We're going to need to meet with the teacher, meet with Ija, meet with all of us, whatever the case may be, so we can try to resolve this issue of why she's going into class being kicked out. What is going on? This is when she would have found out that I tried to talk to her twice throughout the year. Okay? Anytime I get on the phone with a person, I would say 70% of the time, if the person has good customer service, we get off the phone laughing. And most of the time, we don't even want to hang up because we're having such a good conversation. Dealing with people is a must in business. Learning to deal with people. Okay? It's a must. And you can't come into work because of whatever you're going through, because we all got problems. Okay? And I've been there, where I had a day of hell at home and still had to put that smile on when I stepped in at work, because I was dealing with people. And then people had nothing to do with what was going on in my life. So I still had to put that smile on. Even if I had to go to the car and just cry it off, get it out, and say, okay, I'm all right. Now I got to go in here and deal with this manager that's going to drive me crazy. All right, let me say a prayer. All right, I'm going to get through this. Hello, Mr. Smith. How you doing today? I know we was going through some situations, but we got to get this resolved as soon as possible. I want to help you as much as I possibly can. It's simple. Don't make things harder than what it is. What is the key factor? That's what you have to look at. The top key factors of your issue. Okay? And one day I will get in more depth, about customer service, but you have to look at the top key issues of what's going on with this customer. Why am I making this call? I'm making this call to make the customer happy. Then I will present any issues that I have. Just like when you go into a store, you could have went home and opened up something, right? You don't like it. You come back, This is what killed me. Some people will lie about it. They say, oh, this was open. When I got home, I don't want this. Okay? You can tell your customer, well, our policy is we don't take back stuff that's been opened. Okay, matter of fact, I'm going to use this at Walmart. Now, Walmart tells you that if it's underwear and stuff like that, you can't bring it back. Okay, so that's why you want to make sure that it's your size. Because once you open up that package, it's a wrap. Because it comes with hygiene issues. Now, you have some people that say, oh, these things is not going to fit me. They're looking at it. They didn't even put it on, but they're looking at it like, these things ain't going to fit me. I got to take this back. I've had people say to me at the Walmart, now this is great customer service. Okay, this is against our policy to take these back. However, I'll do it this time, but we won't do it again. Okay? Now, you remember they take your ID, so they can always pull it back up. Okay? How many times you came in to bring certain things back. Okay? But people don't think that far. Okay? But you let them know, this is not something we normally do, but we're going to fix this issue. However, the next time we can't do it, I'm very sorry. That's the way customer service works. If you need to get your point across as a company, I'm going to help you today. However, we have to address this issue as well. And that's what she was supposed to do. Okay? Because the main key issue was this child is not in school and it's illegal. That's the main issue. Then the second issue would have been, okay, now we need to resolve why this truancy thing is going on. So I'm going to have to set up a meeting, Ms. Richardson, for all of us to meet. Because we got to come to some conclusion because, we can't kick her out of school. She can't be late, disrupting the class, whatever the issue may be. I make all my kids take responsibility for their actions. But I'm not going to let you railroad my child. Two things I get angry about. My children and my money. Everybody know that. Granted, she don't know me personally. And if you become a liar and you're talking to me, I get angry. If you show me that you don't care about my situation, I get angry. I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to be angry. What parts you don't understand? I'm supposed to be. My child has been kicked out of school illegally. I'm supposed to go off. And it's your job to make me feel like your intentions was not to hurt my child, but to get something taken care of. That's the way it works. As big as we are about children and education, you're kicking a child out of school. What do you think the vice president is going to think about that? What do you think a person like Michelle Obama is going to think about that? Forget Michelle Obama. Her husband, Barack, how do you think he's going to feel about that? Being a child of color, regardless if she's going through issues or whatever the case may be, you have put a black child out of school. And that's all we have is education. So you have to laugh at certain things like this, like, do you really want this battle with your school, it may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow. But in a month's time, you're going to get backlash from God knows how many people. Because the color of our skin. Why would you want to have that backlash? You're taking education from a child instead of trying to find the reason of why this child is not doing what you're asking him to do. So yes, this is going to become a very, very big issue as the days go on. This is day 4 of Egypt not being registered in a school. Day 4. As y'all know, here in Charlotte, they're not taking on new students until next year. They should have known that. They should have called around and did the research and found the school for her to go to. If y'all really don't want her there. Now, I don't know if she's been cursing. I haven't got a call that she's been cursing the teachers out and stuff like that and disrupting the class. I haven't got that email from no teachers. The only thing I've gotten was she's missed the class. But I've been standing there and she's been in the class, but they kick her out because she was late. And I'll get an email. Or if we had to go to the doctors or whatever the case may be, I was sending back an email when we had to go to the doctors. We was, had to do this or whatever the case may be. But you're not going to kick a child out for being late to one class. Or even 2 classes. You're going to try to figure out a way to get around it. So this child will stay in school. So do y'all see where y'all have so much fault? So it's no reason to start pointing the finger. Fix the issue and then resolve the issue. Okay? Or did I say that back? Resolve the issue and fix the issue. Or either one, it doesn't matter. It means the same thing. You have to fix whatever is going on. You don't have time for pointing the finger because every day that goes by is a day that she is out of school, which is going to be on y'all. Not me. Because I've already been told, because I tried to take her out already. And I've already been told that there's no students coming from another school this year because of the COVID. That they have to remain where they are. Oh, I didn't know if y'all know that if a child becomes homeless, which North Carolina is now not allowing anyone to become homeless so they can stay in their homes so their kids can finish school wherever they're located. Oh, so y'all can't use that. Oh, if the child was being transferred. All of that is out the window right now. So I guess y'all not paying attention to what's going on. So there's no homeless kids or kids that's moving, okay? And even if you're moving and you do become homeless, they have a program that will transport you to school, to your former school if needed, but all the kids are on what? The internet. So as long as they stay in the same state, there should be no transfers. Okay, so y'all need to step your game up and get what's going on with the CMS schools so y'all can comply because y'all digging yourself deeper in a hole. Not paying attention to what's going on around you. You might have been able to get away with stuff like this maybe 2 years ago before the COVID. But see, our governor has implanted certain rules that certain things shouldn't even go down for you to even have to implement this. Okay? So, why do you want to keep digging yourself deep in a hole? You don't want the school no more? Well, then give it to somebody that'll run it right. Or is it that the employees that you hire are just not fit for the job? Then what you do like Amazon do. They fire everybody and get all new employees. Okay, granted, you can't do that right now because it's in the middle of the school year, but guess what? The end of the school year be coming. And when it comes, you get rid of everybody and hire all new. That's going to fit your company. Sometimes that's just what you got to do. If your team is not right, you got to get rid of them. I don't care if it's family, because they're destroying your name. They're destroying who you are. And K-12, at the end of the day, when they start seeing all this bad publicity, they're going to say, oh, no, we got to let you go because you're making our name look bad. Same with the tutoring that y'all referred me to. They insured me, sent me a email. pretty young girl. She said, Miss Jacqueline, we ain't got nothing to do with MVCA is doing. We was just referred to help Egypt. So we don't want to be a third party to this mess that they've created. So please, I personally got that email because they already knew what was going down and what could possibly go down. And they don't want to be a part of their third party business helping out NVCA to help their students. They don't want to be a part of that. Because they already know y'all messing up. So they said, please, we don't want to be a part of it. I got that email before I got the call. And all I could do was laugh. And said that the school don't even know what they're doing. They're making other people look bad. You got 2 companies working with you. And you got both of them looking real bad. Where do you think that's going to lie in your reports? Your company. I know all kind of ways to destroy a company. It's easy. Do I want to destroy you? No, I want you to resolve the issue. But you're setting yourself up for destruction. This is what you're doing. So what do you expect me to do to you? What do you actually expect me to do to you if I can't come out the situation understanding why you're doing what you're doing? My key thought is destruction. Because you're not giving me, you got to make it make sense. Okay, and this is what I got this from the kids, y'all. The kids that created this thing. Where because the parents are not only the parents, or even schools and different businesses, they would do stuff and just tell you, well, this is the way it goes. Make it make sense why it goes that way. Then you talk to me. This is why they don't respect y'all. I had bought, I'm going to use this for instance, I had bought some, y'all know I'm trying to go on the vegan side of life. However, I don't know if I'm ready for it yet again. I keep getting ready and then, I don't know. Long story short, I was out shopping and one of my customers had bought some vegan cheese, So I said, you know what? I'm lactose intolerant. Cheese always makes me sick. However, I want to try this vegan cheese. Because I crave cheese. I crave it. Some days I have to have it, And I know it's going to make me sick, but I crave it and I want it. So with that being said, I bought this vegan cheese. And I said to my significant other, I said, look, it's cheese without milk. I said, my stomach won't hurt. And he said to me, so where does it come from? He said, I said cheese, yeah, without milk. So he said, so where does it come from? And I'm like, I don't know. I never looked into that. So now I have to look into it. Where does it come from? You got to make it make sense. Okay, and that's just the bottom line. We know that cheese is made from milk. So if this cheese is not made with milk, where does it come from? I mean, it does have all the ingredients on the back or whatever the case may be. But he's just looking at me like, okay, make it make sense. And he's like, I'm not eating that because I've always known cheese to come from a cow. Make it make sense. Alexa, thank you.
Of course. Have a good morning, Jacqueline.
Alexa, you as well.
That's nice of you to say.
And like I said, I had to have my little conversation with Alexa. I'm sorry, y'all. Because she's like she reminds me of everything. Okay, I had to even buy Egypt and Alexa to get her up for class on time, make sure that she's doing what she's supposed to do. So she has her own little personal, Alexa set to wake her up, get her up, do her homework, get on tutoring, everything that she needs to do. Alexa knows about it, and Alexa reminds her, not only through her saying it, but through text. So every time Alexa speaks, we get a text. Getting back to this cheese, and my significant other, when he said that, I had to think about it. And I said, yeah, I got to make it make sense. Okay, let me do some research on this stuff before I go putting this stuff in my body. When you're calling up people on issues, you have to make it make sense. Okay? And that's the other thing that pissed me off with her. You couldn't make it make sense because you didn't have no proof of me even being in some class that you claimed that you had or some meeting. Okay? You wasn't sure that I got an email. Even if I lied to you, I didn't even get a certified letter or spoken to someone. The last person I spoke to was her advisor. And she never told me about no class or no meeting or anything. Okay, so make it make sense when you calling people up, or just fix the problem and then get to whatever the issue is that y'all have. That's the way it works, people. You can't change the dynamics of the way things work to keep people happy is what I'm trying to say. Okay? You want me to be that customer that even though if the school wasn't right for my child, don't mean it may not be right for the child that I pass walking down the streets. And a mother comes up to me and say, I've been having problems with my kid. I'm trying to find a school. I don't know what to do. My kid's going through a bullying or whatever the case may be. And I might be the one to say, hey, well, my child used to go to North Carolina Virtual Academy. And it wasn't fit for my child, because she needed a social life. She needed to be out with the students, be in school, have activities, blah, blah, blah. But it may be good for you. So do you see where you could be destroying your path to gain more success? People look at today and say, okay, because you put something on social media, that is true. Some believe, some don't. But the streets are different because that's the real world. And when you speak on the streets about something, the people believe because they can see. Do you want to destroy that for your company? Think about what y'all doing. Because once it's told on the streets, in North Carolina Virtual Academy, no, don't do that school. The customer service is bad. They're terrible. They don't call back. When for 2 years straight, I was helping them market to get customers. And this is what y'all do to me? Show me bad customer service, knowing that the same school that I built, that I can tear down? Did y'all recognize that? It's just word of mouth. Y'all commercials on TV means nothing. It's people telling people that they had experience with this particular company. That's the way it works. When you work for a company, okay, or if you represent somebody else, just like myself, I have songs with Drake, Chris Brown, Alicia Keys. Who else I have songs with? I have songs with a lot of people. So when I go out there and I represent myself, I'm representing them as well. Because it shows the type of people that they deal with. Or accept to deal with. Let me put it there. So every time I stand in the streets and I come forth face to face with a person, I'm standing right along with them because their names are connected to me. Even though I don't work for them, even though I'm not on their labels or whatever the case may be, but they names still walk with me. So I'm representing each and every one of these people. You know, I had to train a couple of people in the industry, you know, about the things that they would do, knowing that they was representing others, you know. And they had to dumb it down a little bit. They had to tone it down. And I watched them. You know, I'm not going to say no names. They know who they are. Because you're representing all of us. Okay? Everybody that you have a song with, you're representing us right along with you. And it shows people that if you're like that, then I must be like that too. Because you know that saying, birds of a feather flock together. So with that being said, when you're representing a company, think about everybody else behind you. It's not just you. You're representing the name and every employee that works there. There was times, let me tell you something, when I worked at Frito-Lay, I can have the worst day. I've been going through so much at home. And I had to put on that smile when I got out there to work. And this one manager can be a pure a-hole this particular day. And then I'm like saying to myself, now why today? Okay. Sometimes I will come back to my base, okay, and just sit on a pallet, even though I wasn't supposed to, and just cry. Just to get all of that stress out of me so I can proceed in my day. Because it's just so much. Okay? But then I'll get back up. And I got to continue out my day. Now I got to pull my order. Load my truck. Go talk to my manager. Make sure all my stuff is taken care of on my computer before I log out. I had to release it in order for me to further my day. Because what happens is you snap. And we get that. But it's certain things you can't do. You have to stay on a professional level. And if you're not the type of person that wants a professional job, you should not be in it. Apply for something else. And that's just the way it works. You have to keep that smile. If you don't like that type of attitude, then become your own business owner, and then you'll see where we're coming from. Because now it's going to be based on, if you're not nice, you can't make $1 to do what? Pay your bills. So you'll see. And see, that's the other thing. I've been a business owner for many, many years. So it becomes natural with me. You know, if I feel like the best thing, though, becoming an entrepreneur and being able to say to yourself, okay, I'm not going to deal with that today. I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. I'm going to get my mind straight and let me deal with this. And then I can go forward with that. That's the good thing about being an entrepreneur, because you can make the decision on when you want to deal with something. But when you're working for someone else, you have to deal with that stuff right away, swiftly. That's why they put on applications. Are you a quick thinker? Because you might come up on things that you have to think fast. It could be anything. You have to think fast and take care of the issue. The object of the game is to make sure the customer walks away happy. And you're able to deal with them in a professional way. From that day and any day forth. You want them to feel like when they call up, you know, if a person is acting irate, look, I don't want to talk to you. Can you please send me over to so-and-so? That's the way you want it to be. Where they're calling your name. They're praising you. Oh, well, I like so-and-so. They work through problems with me easy. You know, we meet, blah, 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 da-da-da-da. Yeah, I like this one. That's what you want to create. You don't want to create hate. Because right now, the woman that I spoke to at NVCA, I really dislike her for several reasons. Because one, she didn't want to handle the problem. She wants to dig herself deeper in a hole. 3, she's a runner. 4, she's black. And black people are not trained that way. Black people are the best in customer service. Because we know how to deal with issues and still stay happy. We find a way. So she disappointed me more than anything. Okay? And I feel sorry for her. Because she's not ready. She's not ready. She's not ready for this work. You know, my daughter comes to me. She's 11 years old. And she'll stand by the side of my bed. And she'll say, Mom, give me some situations. If they arise in my life, I want to be able to answer how I would deal with them. You know, I thought that was a great tool. And she learned that on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. You know, so I'll give her, some situations. And then she'll be like, well, did I do that right? And I would say to her, well, it depends on how the situation arises. Or I would say to her, yeah, you dealt with that right. Here we have an 11-year-old that's trying to figure out how to maintain life in a happy manner without drama and chaos, because all we want to do is keep good vibes around us. Because that's what we're teaching the new generations. Okay? We want you to be happy. Because that's what God intended. He wants us to be happy. But in order to be happy, we have to know how to deal with people. And the Bible teaches us that. But, of course, these people don't want to read it. They're afraid to read the Bible. They're afraid to be happy. They're afraid to make other people happy. It could be something that went on in their life, so it's new to them. Then if it's new to you, then you have to learn how not to run from it. You have to face it. Just like when Jesus comes back, we all have to face him. When you die, you have to face God. You can't be a runner all your life. Granted, yeah, you can get away from certain things, but it's a way to do it. Like myself, I used to pick up when people get on my nerves. Like my family, they was alcoholics, and I talk about it all the time. They was alcoholics, they wanted to drink, fight, party, that's what they wanted to do. I couldn't do it. That wasn't my life. I didn't want that for my life. So I didn't want to be around it. So I picked up and left. But I didn't just ball out to where my family didn't know where I was, or they couldn't get in touch with me. They were still able to call me. Well, where you at now, Jackie? Oh, I'm down in Maryland. All right, well, where you live? Okay, here. Well, all right, we're going to come down to visit you. Okay, that's fine. But then they can go back to what they do and leave me alone. Okay? It's two type of runners. There's the runner that don't want to face nothing. And then there's the runner that just separates themselves. You can't get it twisted. Okay? Just because they got this new song, oh, she's a runner, she's a track star. I forget the rest of the words. Don't mean you have to possess to be that way because you hear it on the radio. Because that's not the way it works. But the moral of the story he was trying to tell you people is stop being a runner. Deal with things as they come. Some things may be right for your lifestyle, some things may not. But in the business side of things, if things get tough, you have to face them. It's not going to kill you. It's just going to give you more experience to deal with the next person that come irate. Key tools. You always make the customer happy. Then you can come at them with any issues that you have with them. Third, you stay happy throughout the duration of this process to show them that you're here to do the job and you care. That's the way it works. One day, this new generation to get it, But then I walk around every day and I see some of the new generation, they're getting it. And it's basic common sense. Like, I'm using this the other day. I was at the Publix. I was serving one of my customers. And they needed coffee. Right? Couldn't find the coffee. And I found the coffee, but the coffee machine wasn't working. And I just took the other coffee. I said, look, forget it. I'm going to take the other coffee. And I'm going to go. Because I got to get out of here. Because the person is waiting on their stuff. And I have a time limit to do everything. So I grabbed the coffee and go. Don't you know that this particular associate that I had asked to help me, they did whatever they had to do and figured out why the coffee machine wasn't working. And it was my fault. Okay, why I couldn't get the coffee machine to work. So he ran to me and he said, hey, the coffee machine is working now. He said, what happened was it's because you put too much coffee beans in there. You got to do half at a time. And I said, oh, okay. Thank you for telling me. He cared enough. Okay, even though I wasn't his colleague at Publix, I was still a colleague that came into work every single day at that market. And he knew that situation may arise later on. And I would go through the same issue. The coffee making thing doesn't work. So he came running looking for me saying, this is why it didn't work. Because you got to put this amount first, grind it, and then put some more. I was used to the coffee machine at Costco's. You pour it all in and grind it up, blah, 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 blah. There you go. Do you see the sincerity and the caring about not only his company, but my company and the customer? Because the customer was who I was shopping for. He wanted to make sure that the next time I got a customer that needed grinded coffee, I knew how to please them. So they won't be unhappy. Because not only does it make me look bad, it makes Instacart look bad. It makes Publix look bad. We all walk together. We all stand up under the same umbrella. That's the way it works. Even though we're not paid by the same people. We work together out there. I've been inside of Publix sometime, and I will ask a associate, can you help me? Do you know what blah, 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 blah? Some be lazy and they don't want to be bothered, so they be like, oh, it's over there, da, 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 da. Then I go searching, and I be like, oh, God, I can't find this thing. But then you have your Publix associates that'll be like, give me 1 second, and I'm going to take you right to it, because I was dealing with this person, and I want to take care of them and get them out the way, and then I'll be right with you. And I'll say, okay, well, I'm going to go and run down here for a second. I'll be right back. And they'll be like, okay. So now we both know what page we on. You're going over here to do this. I'm going over here to do that. We'll meet back, and then you can take me to where I need to be. We work together. Other day I went in to Food Lion. There was no chicken wings. And I'm like, oh my God, my customer ain't going to be able to have no meat. Oh, Jesus. You know, these people they gotta have their meats. Right? And then I answer in there, because we get to talk to them. They're not answering. So what am I to do? Gosh, let me go in here in the meat department and ask them, do y'all have any chicken wings? Well, of course, I say, hey, how you doing, y'all? Do y'all have some chicken wings? And the meat manager said, I'm packing them up right now. How many you need? All right, well, it's going to take me a few minutes, though. And I'm like, okay. I'll run off. I'll be back. I'll run off, do what I got to do over here, because time is always ticking. Go do this over here. And then I'll come back and be like, those for me, the chicken wings? Yep, got them right here for you. You see how we work together? Because not only is I'm going to look bad, the person's not going to have no meat. And the store's going to look bad as well. This is why we have to work together when we're carrying other people's names with us. I have a very important call to take. No, it's not NVCA. Of course, they still lacking calling. But I love you guys. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a beautiful day. Stay safe. And I'll talk to y'all soon.